Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine. It's time for our scrap with me for the Scrap Happy 2.0 collection. This collection has so many fun pieces that relate to scrapbooking and preserving your memories and what we do as advisors and as scrapbookers. And so I hope you're going to enjoy the sketch I picked for this collection. Here it is, the sketch that I've chosen for our Scrap Happy 2 collection. It's kind of a busier sketch than what I normally pick. I'll hold it up a little bit closer so you all can get a feel for what I'm going to be doing with it. And this one actually is from August 5th of 2019. I will have the original blog post linked in the description box below this video if you'd like to take a look at the original one. It was for a heritage album, and I thought, this is kind of fun. I don't really talk too much about the heritage albums. And when you have those, the pictures are different sizes and smaller. And so you can see where on here, the sketch shows that there's several opportunities for pictures that are small and large on the sketch and on the page. So let's go ahead and see what I've put together with this one. With this one, I'm just going to be doing more of a regular page layout to it. I kind of tried to simplify it a bit because it was a busier sketch as well. You know me, I like to keep it a little bit simpler and not too busy, I guess. But this one is a little bit busier even for me. First things first, I am going to be working with the Creative Memory Shutterflower logo paper here. It's the one that has the blue geometric on the back. And this is going to be the base for our layout today. Then I also pulled out one of our accent papers. This one is the blue foiled camera page. And on the back, it has white cameras on a light blue background. I've cut a 5-inch strip off of this foiled blue camera paper, and you're going to see where I use it as an accent on our page and throughout our page. I also have pulled some of our mats because, if you've watched any of my live streams from the virtual crops, I do love mats. They do make things so much easier as far as putting a page together. And essentially, you have a photo mat already pre-cut and ready to go. So I have, a couple of my sheets I've cut already. You can see we are going to be using both sides of our paper from our foiled accent paper. And I don't know, this one goes over here. Okay, trying to figure out where I had things. So I pulled 2 of our 4x6 mats. I'm still trying to tell you about what I'm using here. So I have the one with the Shutterflower and the lines, but I'm actually going to be using this one as a photo mat. I actually might wind up using it as a journal box just because the lines go all the way to the edge of the mat. I also have a second 4x6 mat here. And this one you could use as a journal box or also add, this one actually might make more sense as a photo mat. And we're actually going to layer this one on one of our 4.5 by 6.5 mats. So I found this really cute colored cameras with the blue camera. And I just thought, a lot of our papers match our mats and so many things coordinate with our collections on Creative Memories. The back of this one has the Shutterflowers on it. The back of that one has just a purple geometric design. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my tape runner and stick this one on right away because this one is definitely going to be layered. And that way, it's almost like a double mat for your photo. And if we put the photo here, it's there. And then we can use this for journaling, which would, of course, reverse things within the sketch a little bit. But, how many times have I said now? Sketches are guides, kind of like recipes. I'm also a chef. And so there you go. Sometimes I don't always follow what traditionally would be followed with scrapbooking. So I'm going to start up here in this right corner. I want to kind of get this down first. And then I also have this other piece here that's going to go down. And I have the third piece that's going to go down as far as kind of adding to some accenting to our page. This one I'm actually going to use the repositionable tape on because I may need to move it a little bit. I'm not even going to put it down too heavily because this is what's going to be behind our two mats. You can see I picked the two mats here to use in those places there. The one here was 5 inches by 3 1/4 inches to use as an accent on our page. And then up here I have the 5-inch by 3-inch that I've turned over, and then we're going to layer it with this 3 by 2 piece. And in the sketch, it shows it being on top of our photo, but I want to put it behind. So let's go ahead and get those put down just with our regular tape runner because these aren't going to be moving. And you can move things right away when you stick it down with the regular tape runner, but you know, it's a lot easier with the repositionable. So there's that one. And then I'm also going to use the repositionable on this one because I'm not exactly sure where my mat's going to hit just yet. And I know I wanted to layer this one on, but I also want to layer it with the mat. So let me get my two mats going here. This one's going to be up here. So this is kind of going to come over here a bit. Let's see. And then this one's going to be here. Hang on. Let me get this other one on as well. So you can see where I definitely did follow the sketch maybe a little bit more than normal. I don't know if it's more than normal or less than normal. I like to mix it up. And maybe that's what you all like to watch my channel for. And I hope you've subscribed already if you haven't. I do have a few embellishments we're going to be using as well. So let's see here. This one is over from this one, but kind of up from here. And then I do have another piece. This one is 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. So I did try to use some similar measurements when I did this. This is not straight. And this is going to go right about here. So, okay. Actually, that is straight. It's just that our cameras are all over. Okay. Yep, this is good. Let's go ahead and stick those down. And if anyone has any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me. I think sometimes I forget to remind you all of that, but I do like to address the comments. And I'm hoping my video and audio are cooperating today. We actually did find out that we will be moving to an area that I think we're actually going to be able to get broadband at again, or not broadband, fiber internet again, thankfully, because here in New Mexico, it's definitely been a challenge to do some of the live streams and videos for you all. And hopefully that'll improve my channel quality as well for all of you. So I'm just going ahead and putting down our mats here, putting down my pre-cut strips. So I did repeat measurements. So I did cut that 5-inch strip, and you can see from that 5-inch strip, I had the 3 1/4, 3 1/4, and 3 inches. And then I did turn it, and I did do the, the 3 by 2, the 1 3/4 by 1 by 1 1/4, 1 1/4 by 1 3/4. Sorry about that. And then, of course, the 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. And then I just had these little extra pieces, the 1 1/2 by 2. And it just so happened that they worked out perfectly for flipping and layering with some of our embellishments that we have. And I think I'm going to leave this one down, but I think I'm going to pop up our virtual crop one with our foam squares, because that's something else, I love are the foam squares. And I found one that said virtual crop, and those of you who have watched my channel for a bit now know that I do live stream every sketch from the Creative Memories virtual crops, just so that way to give you some extra ideas of what to do with the sketches. And I hope I succeed with that. I hope you all enjoy some of my interpretations. I like to think I'm creative and do some different things and show you something, especially now that they've started putting measurements on the sketches, where you can go a little bit off the script, so to speak, and do your own thing a bit more. I love to give you all ideas. Anyways, because really there aren't any rules when it comes to scrapbooking. You do what works best for your pictures and for your pages. Okay. So let's see now. I did also pull one of our round shutter flowers that's going to go over here. And I found this really cute to-do list embellishment as well. So this one is actually going to get popped up on the foam squares as well. And I have some larger foam squares here I can use. Let's see here. So I want to make sure that I get them into a place where they're not going to interfere with getting my photos onto the page. Like I said, I haven't actually decided where or which one I'm going to use for my photo and which one I'll use for a journal box. So I want to make sure I don't interfere with either, because if I do a journal box, I want to be able to write what I want to write about the photo, or about, maybe I'll take a picture at one of my crops coming up and people will get to read about that. There we go, because I do enjoy hosting events as well as doing all this live streaming and YouTubing. It's kind of fun. I know it's a strange sense of fun for some people, but it is definitely fun for me. So I found this little blue to-do list that I thought complemented our coloring on our page well, and that's just going to go here on our little camera page. And then I also found this foiled camera in our embellishments. You can see it kind of picking up the light there. Maybe. There you go. And then I flipped over this other little piece here that I had that was one of my scraps from cutting our photo paper, the foiled photo paper. So that's just going to go down here. I think I'm going to just go ahead and again leave this one down as well and get that on our page here. Okay, I do also have a couple of stickers I want to add to our page, because my to-do list, I want to put this crop till you drop sticker. I spied it earlier and I just thought, you know what else do we have to do but crop till we drop on our to-do list, especially if the page is about scrapbooking or a crop. And I just thought that was just too fun to not do on our page. And I also want to add a couple of our enameled embellishments that are also in our embellishment pack, that they do have some self-sticking to them. And I thought this also would be something fun to add to our camera area up here. Let's see. Maybe this one here. And then we have this blue one. And I thought, why not go ahead and use all of them? So we have 3 cameras there. We have the camera down here. And also we might do a few of our shutter flowers as well, because we do have the shutter flowers on the base part of our page. And I just thought that the colors did go so nicely. These, some have a clear background and some have a colored background to them. And I think I'm going to go with the clear background just because of what we have here. And I think I'm going to add a few over here. So let's see, maybe the orange, the green, and the blue, just to repeat our colors. And let's do them in the same order. So here's an orange one. Here is our green. And our blue. There we go. So I think that's good. I did pull out a couple of our little other pieces from our embellishments that have like the little banners or the little arrows, but just not sure that those work on our page, but that's something else you can think about adding. There's lots of arrows on our sticker sheets, but I think that's it. I do try to keep some of it simple as much as possible. And this one I probably embellished a little bit more than I normally do, but I just thought it really fit the page and I think it's going to work. And maybe what I'll do is put one of my virtual crop layouts on here and write about that and how much fun I have live streaming it. And I hope some of you all will join me. Check my community tab the week before the virtual crop, which is always the second Saturday of the month. And I always put up a poll on which collections you all would like to see me work with. And I think I'm also going to start posting before I live stream, just to give you all a heads up of when I'm going to be going live. I did switch my live streaming software, and my other one would let me schedule it and put out when I was going live. This one doesn't as well, but I feel like our streams are more stable and you can hear my audio, which is a big deal too. So, you know, hey, you got to work with what you got to work with. So here we go. Here's our sketch one more time. And here's what I did with it. So with this embellishment here, if you don't want to keep the shutter flower, you can easily take your medium circle from your custom cutting system and take your blue blade, and you can put a picture right here in the middle of this really gorgeous foiled frame, if you will. Or just, leave it, just do the one picture, do two pictures. You can journal down here, you can journal over here, and I think it's still going to be a fun layout. It's now time to put together our card with the Scrap Happy collection, and I went ahead and picked this really fun worded page with all kinds of scrapbooking sayings on it. It has the blue diagonal on the back. And I also pulled out our scissor border punch and punched a border across our shutter flower paper, the blue with the white shutter flowers on it that has the orange geometric pattern on the back of it. So first things first, actually, let me just bring out my blank card from our card kit, because that's what I'm going to be working on, and I already know I want my card to open this direction. It's always good to make sure that you have the card the direction that you want it before you start sticking things onto it. I've had that happen more than once, so I'm sharing a little bit of my experience with that. And as you can see, I've cut my border that I punched with the scissor punch because I want them to go across our card. So let's go ahead and get our base down. First things first. Here we go. And then I'm going to use my repositionable tape on the scissor punch because it's just so much easier. And using it on our parchment board also makes life so much easier as well. So I'm going to go just underneath this blue line here that has the weekend forecast scrapbooking with a chance of chocolate here in blue. And I thought, since we punched our scissors with the blue shutter flower, that would pop a little bit more on the page. And so I have the one scissors going one direction and the other scissors are going to go the other direction. They're just a little bit shorter. So the base I cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So 4 1/4 is our short side. 5 1/2 is the long side. You do have to make sure this paper is directional, that you get it to come the direction you want it to. And then when I cut this, I cut it 5 1/2, but I did fussy cut it because I wanted the scissor to be on the end and I didn't really worry as much about having the loops from the scissor on the other end. I'll show you here up close. And then I also found a sticker that says, "What happens at the crop stays at the crop." And I thought, wouldn't this just be such a fun invite to a scrapbooking crop for a friend maybe that you haven't seen in a while? So let me get some small foam squares going on here. That way our saying will be popped up, our invite will be popped, and that way, well, I guess maybe it's not going to be the invite per se. The invite will be on the inside and letting whoever gets this one know. Actually, I think I'm going to put this on our actual scissor here because it centers really well, and then that way you can read a little bit more of if it's not in the scrapbook, it didn't happen, and some of the other sayings on our card. So there we go. That's it. Pretty simple, pretty quick, pretty easy for a scrapbooking themed card. And then you can just write in there an invite for somebody you haven't seen in a while at one of your crops, or just in general for one of your scrapbooking friends. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Sketch with me using the Scrap Happy 2 collection. Oh, I forgot to show you, if you haven't seen my parchment board before, I use electrical tape to hold on the parchment paper. It gives a neater seam around your sturdy piece of cardboard, and it just is a wonderful non-stick surface to work on when working with these punched out pieces and getting those stuck onto your pages. So one more time, here is our card that I made. Here is our page again. Oops, bring that down just a little bit. And our sketch. Until next time.